Hey everybody, it's Dan and welcome to the Advanced Buy Back Your Time program. I am ridiculously pumped to have you here because what I want to share with you is next level strategies to understand how to value your time and get the most out of investing in people and processes and systems to get yourself free from your business. You know, this journey of writing the book, Buy Back Your Time, it actually started a long time ago. If you don't know my story, you know, a lot of people talk about starting from nothing, but my story actually starts way back here to what I always say is the hole, right? When I was a young kid, I got in a lot of trouble, and I've shared this story publicly many times, but my life changed when a person named Brian came into my life and spoke belief of my potential in a moment where I had no personal belief, where I thought I was less than nothing. I thought that, you know, maybe I shouldn't even be alive. And a person that didn't need to, it wasn't his job to do so, you know, pulled me aside and spoke his vision for who he thought I could be. And that just shifted everything. And that's really been my journey of, you know, teaching everything I know and helping other people and trying to build companies and serve, just because I feel like I've been blessed with all these incredible people that showed up in my life to help me get along the road that I want to share with you guys. And for me, the reason I say that I started in a hole is because, you know, I grew up with addiction and challenges at home and anger issues and diagnosed with ADHD, and all of that really made me feel like there was something wrong with me, that I was broken. And what happened was, in rehab, is I had people that showed me how to climb out of this hole I had dug myself, and the right places to put my feet and my hands to climb out. Not people that just read the book, but people that had been there before, who had dealt with addiction. And it was through that journey that I spent 11 months learning how to rebuild myself, my emotions, the trust that I'd lost with my parents, the relationships, my self-worth, my confidence. And at the end of this program, I was super fortunate to discover this thing called programming, software development. And it literally changed my life. And it caused me to go on and discover this small thing called the internet. But the big thing for me was that it became this amazing personal development program, right? Entrepreneurship, going out and building companies. Because I knew that if I wanted to get better, that I need to go look in the mirror and ask myself, who do I need to become to deal with more challenges, etc. So that's why, for me, it's not only starting here, but it's walking you along the journey to become something more, the person that you know that you want to become. But a lot of people get stuck. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you exactly why people stop growing, the thing that holds them back that was not mentioned in the book. You know, because for me, now that the book's been out there, it's become a bestseller and it continues to just serve people at the highest levels. It's been really incredible. I wanted to unpack all the questions that I've been asked and all the places I've seen people trip up and put this into a program that's going to help you get to an even higher level of understanding, another awareness of your psychology and your mindset and what's been missing to really unlock that value for you, that time, right? And you know, the journey of writing the book's actually an interesting one, because probably 3 years ago today, around this time, I got called by my buddy Ron, because he had been watching my YouTube videos, and he said, "Hey man, like, have you ever thought of writing a book?" And I'm like, you know, like, yes, but you know, I'm busy. I've got companies to run. You know, book's not really on my radar. And you know, he said, like, dude, I really think you should write a book. Like, I don't even know what book it is, but like, you should write a book. And true to the buyback principle, I said to Ron on that call, I said, well, why don't you be the CEO of the book? And he's like, what? And I was like, dude, if you like help lead this thing forward and push this thing forward and collaborated with me, then I think that'd be a lot of fun. This guy, you know, has been an incredible friend, but he's also a very accomplished author, and he's written multiple best-selling books. So that's how we started the partnership, and sat down and reviewed all these different videos of topics that he had been watching on my YouTube channel that he thought would be the foundation and the buyback principle, that framework for how not only have I bought back my time so that I can live this like high quality of life, but also still charge. Like, I'm not the 4-hour work week guy. I'm not going to tell you to buy back your time and just chill out. I'm going to tell you to buy back your time and go build your empire. And we're going to talk about that over these next few videos. But it was through that conversation that, you know, the whole concept of the book came to be. And so much so, it's kind of a crazy story, because the way a book process works is you write the book, the proposal, and then you go out and you talk with potential publishers. And I remember, you know, when we started, we spent all the time, did a bunch of customer interviews, a bunch of research, and had the outline done, essentially the book proposal. And, you know, we were talking with these publishers, and they asked me, they go, why do you think this book is going to be successful? Why are you the person to write this book? And it was funny, because right behind me here, for at that point, almost 8 or 9 months, I had been staring at this thing. And this is a newspaper, front page of the newspaper article that one of my best friends, Martell, put together and gave to me as a gift. And pretty much shared with me that he had a vision for what this book could be. So it's crazy, you'll notice, is the book right there, it's orange, maybe you can't see it, but it says Buyback Principle. He worked with his designer to create this fake newspaper. You guys are seeing behind the scenes. I've never shared this publicly with anybody. And even wrote the articles about how a Canadian author writes a book to revolutionize productivity and time. And he's even got my snowboard trip I do every year with my friends, and my wife's there holding the book, and these are my triathlon friends, and that's actually Martell right there. And I share this because I know that you've got something in your heart. I know you've got something that you've seen that you know you could potentially create. I don't know if it's the company you're working on right now, your own book, your family, a future that is just super bright and exciting. And I share that because it's going to require you to hold that belief true. It's going to require you to stare at that vision of what's possible and do it even when there's no proof around you that it's possible. So when I was having these calls with the publishers and they'd say, you know, Dan, why you? I'd pull that out. I would hold that thing up to the Zoom call, because this is during the pandemic, and I would hold it up and I would say, because of this, because I'm not gonna let my friend down. There's no way. I've been staring at this as I've been writing the book, researching the book, doing the customer interviews, making sure that I put everything I possibly can that's going to serve people, the beliefs that are holding back, the fears that are showing up in their lives. And this thing's going to happen. I'm just going to will it to happen. I'm going to put my energy, my soul into this thing. And those conversations, like, I remember I hung up the first time I did that, and my agent, Lucinda, who's an incredible woman, she goes, I've never seen anybody pitch like that. Like, where did that come from? And I'm like, it's just who I am. Like, if I decide to go all in, I'm going all in. So I've gone all in on this program, okay? I've literally gone through hundreds of questions, hundreds of challenges, all the top stuff, and said, okay, what's missing to help people go along the journey and really turn the buyback principle into a mission for you, for the world, for the entrepreneurial ecosystem. How do we elevate? I want to break this down into these 4 core areas to really help you focus and ask yourself, how am I doing, right? How am I showing up around these concepts? And then more importantly, I'm going to share with you the thing that's been holding you back, the thing that you may not even be as showing up, this kind of ceiling that's invisible, that's you're banging your head against, right? So the first stuff is we're going to talk about the pain line. Okay, the pain line is this concept I created because a lot of entrepreneurs are running into it and they start having these emotions and they don't know what to do with them, and they usually do one of the 3 S's. We'll dive deep into that. I'm going to talk about the buyback loop, okay? Because there's one key element that a lot of people forget, and it's right here, that if they get this wrong, then the buyback loop doesn't work. You don't actually get the forward motion and movement that you expect by buying back your time. And then we're also going to talk about leverage, right? Because I was taught by one of my mentors that there's only 4 ways to get leverage. I'm going to unpack these so that you understand them. So as you go through your learning journey and you want to continue to get coached and evolve, that you're going to be able to ask yourself, where does it fit inside to these concepts of leverage? because we all have the same amount of time. It's just some people get more done within that time. Then we're going to move on to talk about how do I identify my next hire, right? Who is that person? How do I identify our time through the time and energy audit, but also look at our skills and the things that we're great at and other places where we can bring people in to support us. Then we're going to discuss one of my favorite ways to get leverage, which is from work and home. Okay, I'm going to unpack other ways that you can look to get even more time back for yourself in your work, but more importantly, what I call the buyback lifestyle in your home, like in your space where you don't even realize there's things that you're doing that's sucking your energy and your time that somebody can support you on. And to do that, I've got to unpack and really deliver what I call the 10-80-10 principle. Like this is fundamental to how I buy back my time that most people are getting wrong. So we're going to go deep on this. Then I'm going to go and amplify the drip matrix. Okay. We're going to figure out where within there is your opportunity to really construct and design time in your life to get more out of your day. Okay. This drip matrix amplifier is going to be a game changer for you. And then we've got the 4Ds. I got this from a book a long time ago as I dive into these, the 4Ds of time management. Okay, if you've never heard of these, this will be a game changer for you because it'll help you evaluate what are the things that are important but not urgent for you to focus on. So the stuff that's not important and urgent that just seems to be your notifications and fires going off in your life, how do we get rid of those? And more importantly, this new messaging protocol. So many of you guys are getting inundated between your social media posts and your text message. And it's like, yeah, sure, Dan, I read the book and the inbox GPS really served me. I want to talk about how do we take everything else? Well, my friend introduced me to his friend and he wants to show me something, but I'm not the person that should really be talking to that person. It's this person on my team, but how do I route that? Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to take all the inbound requests for your time and route it in a way that's going to make the person that introduced you and that you're going to connect with feel great about it because it actually serves them. This is going to be a game changer. And then finally, for me, it's all about like, how do we create that compelling vision, okay? To do that, we need to talk about the 10X vision map. And I've got to show you how your psychology has been holding you back from dreaming, from having a clear vision, a powerful vision for what your potential is. And we're going to talk about the mindset blockers, right? What comes up when we start dreaming? You know, one of the beliefs that I've learned a long time ago is you will only attract into your life what you think you deserve. Write that down. And you should be taking notes throughout this whole video program. Write down notes. You should have a workbook and be ready to go, or a journal. Mindset blockers. What are the things that are coming up that are blocking you from taking action on these frameworks? Okay? And then finally, we're going to talk about one of my most important concepts, which is the 10.0 version of yourself, your greatest self. If you think about, the most powerful moments in your life where you've shown up with confidence and certainty and excitement and creativity and resourcefulness, and you just felt like, man, all these problems that are coming up right now, maybe it was a moment, maybe it was a week, but what if we strung that together and that then became your life? And we're going to go from here, okay, where I know for me, I felt, frustrated, right? I was struggling, frustrated, struggling. I felt trapped, not only in my life, but in my companies, okay? How do we go from here to a place where when we wake up, we feel on top of the world? This 10.0 version of ourselves, the most powerful version of ourselves. Somebody that can not only lead our teams, but we can lead ourselves. We can lead our markets, our community, our church, our families. To me, this journey of buying back our time is not a productivity journey. This is a personal development journey. This is an opportunity for you to really get clear and ask ourselves, what's been holding me back? Because oftentimes people want the tactics. Teach me the Facebook ads, Dan. Teach me, your org structure, or what's the SOP for this? They want the tactic, the strategy. What I want to give you more than anything is unwavering confidence. I want you to walk away from this video series, this program, with a sense of confidence and clarity that you've never had before. Where you know no matter what, because the world isn't going to get easier, you're going to get better, but no matter what shows up, you're going to be able to push through and push forward, okay? Because you're aiming. Not that you ever become forever, but you're aiming to become the 10.0 version of yourself. This process is going to be a game changer for you. If you show up, you do the work, you take the notes, you don't stop. Watch one of the videos, take a bunch of notes, because oftentimes it's what's caught, not taught. It's not what I put up here on the flip chart that's going to change your life. It's the way you interpret the words that I'm sharing as it pertains to your life. So take a ton of notes and reflect on them, but then come back. Don't stop. Go right to the end, because every video I'm going to share with you the one piece that's missing to make this whole thing work. But the whole series is going to build up till the final video when I drop the mic on the crescendo and pull back the whole curtain for you to understand that this is way bigger than a book. This is way bigger than a course. This is potentially one of the most transformational opportunities that you have in your personal development journey. And here's why. See, most people don't realize that their next level is going to be stopped based on this concept called a complexity ceiling. Okay, complexity ceiling. And let me tell you a quick story about the complexity ceiling. My buddy Chad, incredible person. I love Chad. He's my buddy. We go in the backcountry. We do these things called snow biking, where we literally, they're dirt bikes with this track on it and a ski on the front, and it goes in the snow. Okay, it's one of the funnest things you could possibly do. Okay, well, Chad runs the retail shop where we buy all our snow bikes. There's a whole gang of us at this point. And I remember we were all, gearing up to go, and it was Saturday morning, and I get up really early, and I text Chad at like 5:30, and I'm like, hey man, how's the snow conditions? Are we all set to meet, at 8 o'clock at the gas station? And he like chirped back super upset, and it was on this like group chat. And then I messaged my buddy Brad, and I was like, hey, what's up with Chad? Why is he so upset? And he's like, Chad. So we end up at this gas station, and Chad shows up. We're like, hey, Chad, why are you so upset? And he's like, dude, why are you guys waking me up at 5:30 in the morning? Like, I'm sleeping. And we're thinking, Chad, you can just put your phone on airplane mode or like do not disturb. I mean, why is your phone ringing because some person texts you in the middle of the night? And we kind of say that to him. We're like, you can put your phone. He goes, oh, that'd be nice if I didn't have my security system ring my phone. Like it has to, it must be nice for you guys. You're on the internet, you internet people, whatever. And I'm like, thinking to myself, Chad, you're not the first person in the history of owning a retail shop that has a security alarm. And I don't know the answer, but if I'm guessing, because I know what I do for my home, it goes to the police. Right? And then they can call me and I can put, like it was just so interesting to step back. But I share this story because in that moment, Chad discovered, or at least exposed, his complexity ceiling. There was a moment where he decided, I will always have to get these text message notifications. And some of you guys may think, well, that's crazy. And I would agree. But how about you? Is there a belief that you have around your inbox where you're the only person that can respond to emails? Or are you the only person that can take these meetings and deal with sales calls? Or are you the only person who can clean their house or go make your food? And I don't know what it is for you. You need to ask yourself that question. What is my complexity ceiling? And how do I overcome it? How do I go and learn? Okay, because these are the 3 steps. Write these down. How do I go out there and model from people that have done this before, right? Model, then modify. Some of you guys model or you're too quick to modify and you don't get the results. So Chad hit a complexity ceiling, but he never asked anybody else in his industry, hey, what do you do for your security alarm, right? Or a busy person, how do you handle your email, right? Your inbox. Then you got to ask yourself, well, what are the beliefs that I had or have around that ceiling, the complexity ceilings that's been allowing that thing to live in my life? What did I believe about it that stopped me from trying to find a solution? Because I've seen a lot of people, hit their ceiling, solve the problem because they found a solution, but then they didn't address the belief. So then they're still showing up with that belief in other areas. So the ceiling's still there, it just changed what it looked like. I hope that makes sense, right? So if you do those things and you shift your beliefs around it, okay, which is a beautiful win, then the third part is we have to protect ourselves from sliding back. We have to protect ourselves from sliding back in and hitting that ceiling again. So how do we do it? We operationalize it. We create a system, a process. We train somebody. We make new rules. We talk about the principles, the values, how as a company we show up, right? And a lot of this is going to bring up some scary feelings, but I know that this is going to be your opportunity to really evaluate the emotion, the triggers, right? Our triggers are our teachers. So your complexity ceilings are just a mirror to your belief systems that are blocking you from buying back your time, from achieving new levels of greatness, from becoming the 10.0 version of yourself. This program is going to transform the energy that you bring to your work, and it's going to have one of the most profound impacts into how you show up for your team, and more importantly, the people you love the most, your family and your friends. So in the next video, we're going to be talking about the pain line and understanding where is that showing up, because maybe you're hitting it and you don't even know it, and then talk about the buyback loop that most people don't understand about it to really get the full spin to make this work. And we're going to talk about the 4 C's of leverage. So be sure to take a bunch of notes and write down, what is your current complexity ceiling? Where in your life are you struggling that you need to make some adjustments to model what's working, change your beliefs, and then protect yourself and your team from sliding back down and hitting that ceiling again. So I want to hear from everybody below in the comments. I want to thank you guys. I'm excited for you, and I'll see you in the next video.